أعزائي مشاهدي اليوم السادس، أهلا ومرحبا بكم في حلقة خاصة جدا مع كيلي ليتش. كيلي ليتش واحدة من ضمن المرشحين من حزب المحافظين لقيادة الحزب في المرحلة الجاية 2019 in 2019. Before we start, I would like to welcome Kellie Leitch. Hi, Kellie. I would like to introduce you to our Coptic community.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm delighted to be on your show.
Usually when I talk to our friends and from Arabic speaking community and the Coptic community specifically, your name comes on the top 3 for those nomination for the conservative race. Do you think why the Coptic community, they prefer you as one of the top 3?
Well, I'm delighted to hear that the Coptic community holds me in such high regard. I think it's because I've been talking about the issues around our Canadian identity and Canadian values. I've been talking about our Canadian values of hard work, generosity, freedom, and tolerance. And those are the values that I believe are the reason people choose to immigrate, to come to Canada, because it's a beacon of hope for the world. And I believe that members from your community, as they've told me directly, that the reason they've come to Canada is to embrace that Canadian way of life, where men and women are equal, and where you can worship who you wish, and where we live with tolerance, and when we have differences, solve our issues without violence. And so I've been talking about Canadian values. I know your community embraces them. I think that's why I'm one of the most appealing candidates to everyone in the Coptic Christian community.
Thank you for explaining this to us. And my second question to you is related to why should we believe Kellie is the right candidate to support?
Well, I will win the next election campaign against Justin Trudeau in 2019. I'm out talking about common sense ideas. I'm talking about our Canadian, talking about a common sense approach to immigration, that each individual who is immigrating to Canada should receive a face-to-face interview, not just the 1 in 10 that receive one now, but everyone. I've been talking about common sense economic policy. I have a plan that talks about balancing the budget, making sure we legislate debt reduction, and making sure we get the waste out of government. These are things that I know Canadians across the country, including in the Coptic Christian community, actually embrace. These common sense ideas. And when we as conservatives stand tall and talk about them, that's when we're most successful. When we communicate clearly ideas that are grounded in conservative values so that we actually hold strong and push ahead. And I'm delighted that many people from your community and across the country support this approach.
So do you think that the Conservatives have the chance to win in year 2019, knowing that Liberals won the previous election and they have activity on the ground, they are talking to people, they are very active, they are very supporting? What do you think? My second part is, how about if Kellie is the party leader? Is this going to change the picture? What do you think?
Well, I believe that we absolutely will win in 2019, and especially if I'm the leader of the party. And there's 2 things. We win as conservatives when we're not afraid, when we talk about the ideas that we care about and we stand strong. And so I'm talking about common sense ideas, whether that be about Canadian values or immigration. As I mentioned before, I think that common sense idea on immigration is that we have face-to-face interviews. This is something that's been suggested and recommended by the Senate Committee. I think that I agree and should be implemented across the board. But these common sense ideas, with a large organization that's working hard in communities across the country, that is supported by the leadership and by our caucus, is the reason we will have a successful election in 2019. And I'm looking forward to being the next Prime Minister of Canada.
I don't think that the media in Canada are focusing on the Conservative leadership campaign. How important do you think is the leadership campaign is?
Well, I think it's important for selecting the person that will go up against Justin Trudeau in the next election. That individual needs to be able to win with a strong caucus against Justin Trudeau. I know that I can beat him. I know that having common sense ideas, ones that are grounded, as I say, ones that I can tell you are embraced by Canadians across the country, important. By way of example, when I talk about Canadian values, 74% of Canadians and 90% of Conservatives agree with that idea. When I talk about balancing the budget or abolishing the carbon tax, overwhelmingly Canadians agree with these ideas. It's with good ideas and strong organization, making sure that we have the right leadership in place will be essential. And I can tell you that we need to make sure that new young Canadians, as well as women, and individuals from various communities across the nation must join our party to allow us to be successful. Well, I've had great success working at universities. I am a woman who's in the demographic we need to encourage to join us. And I've been working with communities across the country throughout this leadership, and I'll continue to work hard until the next election campaign with individuals like yourself and others so that we can be successful in 2019.
Quebec voters are essentials for any election. To what extent do you think that voters will vote for Kellie Leitch during the leadership campaign and in future in year 2019?
Well, I'm delighted that the Montreal Coptic Christian community has endorsed me. And I will tell you that the issue that I'm talking about, Canadian values, is overwhelmingly supported by individuals from across the province of Quebec. It will be with those ideas that not only in Quebec, but in every region of the country that will be successful as Conservatives. And I can tell you that I'll be working hard in the province of Quebec, making sure we build our organization so that it is strong and can communicate our message clearly in both English and in French so that we can be successful. And so, like some of the other candidates in this race, I do speak both languages, and I'm looking forward to battling Mr. Trudeau in both English and French in the 2019 election.
Today is May 18th, and the time is very sensitive for people that they are willing to elect and select the candidate. To what extent can you tell them what to do? And if you help us to know the process and how to vote, this will be very helpful, especially that most of our Arabic and Coptic community, this is maybe the first time for them to vote.
Well, I think it's exciting that so many new people are getting to vote in this election. And you'll receive a package in the mail, and if you have a ballot, the ballot will look like this. Now, I'm going to ask you to color in the number 1 beside my name, Kellie Leitch, because I'm one of the candidates. But you take this ballot, and you take the envelope list number 2. You put the ballot in the envelope, and then you need 2 other pieces. First, a photocopy of your ID, or 2 pieces of ID, one that has a picture and one that has your address. Then you take the declaration form that comes in the package, labeled C, you sign it, and make sure the address is the same as on your identification. You take this, your ID, and you take the ballot and place them all in envelope number 4 so that you can mail it. Now, if you're concerned about getting it in the mail, it needs to arrive by 5/26 to Deloitte's in Vaughan. If you're concerned that it won't make it, any person who's a member of the party can vote directly on May 27th at the Toronto Congress Centre at 650 Dixon Road, Etobicoke. If you come with your photo ID, you'll receive a ballot and vote directly, or you can bring your own ballot and use that to vote. We want as many people as possible to vote, and obviously I want as many people as possible to color in the number 1 beside my name on their ballots. But if you have any questions, I also have a Facebook video that walks through all these steps and watch it again on my Facebook. Now, there are 2 Facebooks for Kellie Leitch. One is a doctor, me as a doctor, one as a parliamentarian one, the politician one, the Facebook video is. So I hope everyone participate. It's an exciting opportunity to elect the next leader of the opposition.
Kellie, thank you so much for your time today. And actually, we are honored to have you in our اليوم السادس TV show for Arabic speaking and Coptic, specifically Coptic community and Arabic speaking community in Canada and the North American countries. Also, it may be our pleasure to maybe one day, to maybe after year 2019, to come and pay you a visit in your Prime Minister office of Canada.
Well, I was delighted to have you. And, you know, as I think I've mentioned before, I became involved with the Coptic community well before the leadership. A good friend of mine who lives in my India is Coptic Orphans Foundation. And I would like to speak with a pediatric surgeon. That's my role. I'm a pediatric surgeon. I say it's an amazing organization that takes care of children that have lost a parent. I think they're doing amazing work. And I will be and have been contributing to them. And I encourage people from across North America to support this amazing organization, the Coptic Orphans Foundation, so that young people in Egypt have a great first start, get a great education, and have great lives. So thank you for taking the time to watch our interview, and thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to hosting in the Minister's office in 2019.
Kellie, we appreciate your time today, and thank you so much, and have a nice and wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Baba.